We had travelled this road less than a month before on our way to the Outer Hebrides. This time we would stop at Plockton, one of the most beautiful villages in the West Highlands. We travelled by the infamous and atmospheric Pass of Glencoe, past the dramatic Commander Memorial above Spain Bridge. Then the road winds through the soaring Kintail mountain peaks and opens onto Loch Duirinish. The head of the loch is framed by the magnificent bulk of the Five Sisters of Kintail on the north side of Shieldaig. This is Highland scenery at its finest. We stopped briefly at the south side of the loch before heading past the stunning Keg Castle sitting in its little islet at the confluence of three lochs. The original castle was built as protection against the Viking marauders. It was rebuilt in 1915. The new Sky Bridge is a magnificent structure which certainly blends in tastefully with the backdrop of the majestic Skye mountain ranges. Kyle of Lochalsh was once the busy terminus of the scenic Inverness Railway and the busy main ferry crossing to Skye with its build-up of traffic stretching back down the road. But with the opening of the controversial Skye Road Bridge in 1995, things are quieter now in Kyle, and a stop in the village is no longer obligatory. Kyle has tried hard to improve its image by focusing on its shorefront. It also has a pretty good range of shops for a West Highland village. Even the station doubles as a shopping precinct. Then there's the views. The graceful bridge and Skye's wonderful and atmospheric mountains, best seen from Kyle's excellent viewpoint of Plotkin. To the north of the Kyle Peninsula is the mountainous and stunning area of Applecross. A few miles northeast of Kyle, we come to the strange and sleepy little village of Duirinish. Roberta noticed an art studio at the entrance to the village. Highland cattle roam about freely in the green pastures. A little burn tumbles down the village for most of its length, and there's a road on each side of it, each with its own row of houses, meeting the bridge at the top. Plockton was originally a typical West Highland crofting and fishing village, but now it's a tourist attraction second to none, and the little islands dotted about its bay only enhance its tranquil setting. We were booked to stay bed and breakfast in the Old Manse with a well-known local artist called Miriam Drysdale. It was now converted into a wonderful art gallery and contained many interesting and excellent works of art. B&Bs are at a premium in this area in this summer, and you really have to book at least a fortnight in advance or hope for a cancellation, even though there's a vast amount of accommodation in the area. It just goes to show how popular this area is. A little path ran along the waterside to the neatly painted cottages in the point. I had never noticed the little thatched cottage in any of my previous visits here. A film drama about a Highland bobby called Hamish Macbeth was filmed here in the 1990s, and visitors flocked to the area around about then. It's not just as overcrowded now. Plockton is truly a jewel in the Highlands. The quaint little craft shop in the shorefront belonged to Callum, who ran the seal tours around the bay in his little boat. Tucked below the rugged crags on the south side of the bay is Keg Castle, originally built as a stately home in the 19th century. A little signed path leads round the top of the bay, along the undulating shoreline. It runs between the loch and the railway line for a while, on its way to the castle and Strathellan Woods, where many fine walks can be found. The scenic Kyle line skips the south side of Loch Carron on its winding way to Kyle of Lochalsh. A little further on, the path leads through a tunnel and under the railway line. I turn back here. The view looking back across Loch Carron to the whitewashed houses stretching out along the curve of the beautiful bay with the magnificent Applecross Mountains standing majestically above the village makes this one of the most beautiful areas of Scotland. I love Plockton. Plockton is everything you would expect of a scenic West Highland village. The craggy mountain backdrop, the whitewashed houses, the pine-clad islands and a setting second to none. We travelled northeast along North Carron on our way to Shieldaig, the last village in our trip. On the other side of the loch, the sprawling village of Loch Carron could be made out. We soon reached the head of the loch at the village of Strathcarron and turned left across the level crossing. The spectacular mountains of the Bendaff forest rose dramatically in the distance beyond. The road winds its way through rugged mountain scenery and then opens out at the foot of the Applecross Mountains. A single track road leads off to the left on its way to the villages on the west of the peninsula. This road is known as the Bealach na Bole. This was not a road for the faint-hearted. We headed on to Shieldaig, another wonderful Highland village on the banks of the loch of the same name. This was at one time the end of the road. Shieldaig is Gaelic for Herring Bay. It's no longer a fishing port of any note now and concentrates mainly on prawns, lobsters and mussels. The village was actually built to train sailors to fight Napoleon, but he was defeated before the training was completed. The rugged, atmospheric and ancient rocky shoreline of Torridon could be made out on the other side of the bay. The scenery along this coast is amongst the most dramatic and magnificent of any in Scotland. I never tire of visiting this spectacular part of Scotland with its castles, mountains, sea lochs and fishing villages. It's paradise. It was now time to return home.